What's up, crew? Welcome back to Libertalia Game Supply. Today we are going to take a look at a deck list that I built out of 3 structure decks, 3 of this new Crimson King structure deck that is coming out today, the day this video is posted. Now, for the most part, I think that the structure deck gives you a lot of what you need to build like the good foundation for a deck. It is missing some stuff, but all in all, it's not the worst thing. As far as like what I think the ceiling of the deck is, this gets relatively close to it. It's not like worse than any other structure decks in the past. I just think that it's a fairly fragile deck even at full power, but it is a hell of a lot of fun. Now, a couple of notes before we get into it. There are a few cards in this structure deck that I really wanted to play, and there just wasn't a good way to make it happen. The first one is Red Zone. It's a great card, and for sure it's going in the deck as soon as I take out all the structure deck stuff that I didn't like, and I put in all of the stuff that didn't come in the structure deck that I did like. It is a great card, especially if you're focused around Supernova Dragon. Getting those free special summons and free extra board waves from your banish zone every turn is just incredible. But in this build, there's just not a reliable way to banish monsters often enough for Red Zone to really be worth anything. And the other one is Burning Soul. It's a quick play spell. It lets you synchro summon on your opponent's turn as long as you control a level 8 synchro monster. It also gives you any card from your graveyard back to your hand as long as it's not a copy of Burning Soul. So a card like that just felt like it was so explosive, it had so much potential, and I was hell-bent on making it work in some way, and it just does not. I cannot express the amount of disappointment I felt when I realized that if I go Burning Soul on my opponent's turn to summon King Calamity and shut that whole turn down, because you are chaining it to something that they activated, it will miss timing because whatever they activated will resolve before you would have the window to activate the King Calamity. So just an absolute heartbreaking realization for me to come to, and so I just had to cut it. Now, if you do end up playtesting this structure deck thing a little bit or playtesting online and you want to make some cheap upgrades to the deck, you can make the deck quite a bit better, quite a bit more efficient by spending like $1. A couple of things I would suggest is the Uvaloop, the Camel Lady thing. It's a great card for setting up that banish zone so then you can make use of your red zone. As well as Quibelt the Blade Dragon. It came out just recently. I think it came out in Duelist Nexus, if I'm not mistaken. It's a common synchro monster. It's a level 7, and it's a removal. We don't currently have a level 7 in the structure deck, nor is there really a great level 7 that has some good removal in the game outside of that fits into the deck well. Quibelt is a Dark Dragon synchro, so it fits into that limitation that the deck gives you all the time. I would say both of these are worth picking up. But that's enough of that. Subscribe if you want to help me get to that 400 milestone. I'm chasing it, and I'm chasing it hard. Now play my song. First things first, we got 3 copies of Everyone's King. A level 0 3k beat stick seems like a mistake. I don't know why they would print something so busted. It's also just free synchro material. This is definitely going to be a staple in every deck of every format for the rest of time. Then we got 3 copies of Soul Resonator. This is your best normal summon in the deck. It searches 90% of your monster lineup, really gets your plays going, and it can protect your board from being destroyed. We got our 3 copies of Crimson Resonator. It's a free summon from your hand when the board is empty and when he's accompanied by his best buddy Red Rising Dragon. It's also 2 free special summons from the deck. We've got a 3 Vision Resonator. It's only at 3 because there weren't really many better options in the structure deck. I suppose you could cut this down to 2 to put a Creation Resonator in there. Kind of does the same thing, it's just a free special summon from the hand, so long as you have a synchro monster on board. Vision is better though because it searches that spell or trap when it goes to the graveyard. It can go to the graveyard in any way. If you're going to make upgrades to this structure deck build, I would cut this down to 2 and make room for 1 of something else that's going to be a little bit more useful. We've got Double Synchron Resonator, also special summons itself from the hand when you got a synchro monster on board. When it goes to the graveyard, it can put a Resonator from your graveyard back in your hand. We've got 2 Red Resonator. This should also be at 1. We're just missing the non-Resonator tuners in the structure deck that really would make the deck a little bit better. The Inflated Resonator lineup just goes kind of well with the spell lineup that we got going on here, so that's the only reason it's at 2. And I suppose if you open it, it's not a terrible secondary normal summon to Soul Resonator. We've got Triple Bone Archfiend. It's your best non-tuner in the deck. It can summon itself from the hand or graveyard by sending a card from your hand or field to the graveyard. And then when it's on the field, it can manipulate levels up or down by 1 by sending something from your deck to the graveyard. So you get that graveyard set up for something like a Crimson Resonator. You get a body on board that's a level 4, 3, or 5. We've got Triple Wandering King Wild Wind. It special summons itself to the field for free as long as you have a tuner with 1500 or less attack, which is all of the tuners in the deck. And once it's been in the graveyard for a turn, it can banish itself to search a Fiend Tuner with 1500 or less attack from your deck to your hand. Not only does it provide a free body for synchro summoning, it also can help you with the follow-up play. We've got the 3 copies of Dawnwalker with the Lone Fire Ant, because we don't have access to the Duskwalker and the Supe. It's a 1-card level 8 synchro so long as you have discard fodder available, but if you have access to the Duskwalker and Supe, it's definitely better. That's a 1-card Red Rising, where this is a 1-card Red Dragon Archfiend, which really doesn't help you extend beyond that. We've got 2 copies of Magical King Moonstar just to pad out a little bit of the non-tuner lineup here. This could also have been Warg or Sprinter, but this one had the fewest limitations, and so this is what I chose. This is easily a cut. I would play it at 0 in a heartbeat if something better came along. We've got Triple Resonator Call, it's a Rhoda for your Resis. We've got Triple Resonator Command, it's just a shitty trade-in for level 4 or lower fiends. We've got Triple Crimson Gaia, it's an absolute travesty that this is just a common. It does everything. It's easily searchable and searches things easily. It has that Book of Moon effect and the recursion for Red Dragon Archfiend. It just does so much. We've got the 1 absolute power force, it allows for an OTK, it's easily searched off of the Crimson Gaia, and it's a quick play spell with an attack boost, so it's almost like having a Bujinki Crane. We've got 3 Red Rain. This does not need to be at 3. You just don't have many other options in terms of interrupts in the main deck as far as the structure deck goes. It's non-searchable, which kind of sucks because it's a really cool card. It's a really cool board wipe, and it can recur itself. We've got the 1 Fiendish Golem because it is searchable and it is removal. And we've got the 1 Fiendish Chain because it's searchable off of the searchable Fiendish Golem searchable. Into the extra deck, we got Triple Red Rising Dragon. This is a must. It starts most of your combos. When it is summoned, it will invite a Resonator from the graveyard back to the party. And once it's been in the graveyard itself for a turn, it can banish itself to put 2 level 1 Resis from the graveyard back on the board. We play 2 Red Dragon Archfiend just because it's a free summon off of Scar Red. We play 2 Scar Red because it's a much better version of Red Dragon Archfiend. It gets that board wipe plus the original Red Dragon Archfiend on board when you use it as a synchro material. We play the 1 Scarlight because it does still count itself as a Red Dragon Archfiend for whenever that is a necessary condition for an effect. This is probably an easy cut for something like Tyrant or Dispatter. We play 2 Abyss. This is probably one of the better synchro monsters that isn't just an absolute unit like the level 12s. It's got that quick effect negation ability, and it's a nice in-between for Scar Red to get a Red Dragon Archfiend on board along with this and just to put a big OTK board together. We've got Double Bane. It can turn one of your Resonators into a Red Dragon Archfiend that's in your graveyard. This is also an easy cut to 1 to make room for something else. We've got 1 Red Nova Dragon. This card still sucked. It's only in here as a remnant of when I still had hopes that Burning Soul wasn't complete trash. We've got the 1 King Calamity. This guy is very disagreeable. It really doesn't fit as well in the structure deck version of this build because we don't have a very reliable way to summon it on our opponent's turn. I still can't get over the fact that Burning Soul seems to be designed specifically to make use of something like this. However, Burning Soul also would cause it to miss timing. The only reason I would keep this in the deck long term is if I was also going to play Crimson Dragon. And we've got the 1 Red Supernova Dragon because fuck your board.